What up, YouTube? Today we're talking about Life is Beautiful, the collaboration album between 2 Chainz, Larry June, and The Alchemist. When I first heard about this project, I was a little skeptical. I mean, for one, 2 Chainz and Larry June, they have two completely different styles, to be quite honest. But with The Alchemist, maybe we just get some fire production over some 2 Chainz type lyrics. Maybe Larry June comes into 2 Chainz' world and try to give it that trap it type feel. Who knows? I did know at least we'd get some fire production. So after a full listen, I wanted to give you guys my full breakdown, the highs, the lows, and my final grade on the album. In a recent interview, Alchemist says this album actually came together pretty organically. Originally, the plan was just a short EP, but as Alchemist put it, every joint just kept getting better. And after listening to the project as a whole, you can see why they decided to go with a full-length project instead. Alright, first let's talk about my favorite joints on the album. These are the tracks that really stood out to me. Life is Beautiful, Generation, and Epiphany. With Life is Beautiful, title tracks usually carry some extra weight, and this one in particular delivered. Be the energy, the way 2 Chainz and Larry June flowed over it, it's definitely a highlight. And I also like how this song transitioned into Generation. For Generation, this one just feels good. The production is smooth. You'll hear me say that a lot with this album. The production is smooth, the production is chill, the production is flawless, because that's the case with the entire album. And the sample work that The Alchemist threw in at the end, it was just fantastic. Then lastly, Epiphany, a track that really captures what makes this album work. The chemistry is on point, rapping is sharp, and it's just an easy listen, real smooth. Alright, so let's talk about the overall positives of this album. Alright, so first off, kind of like what I've been mentioning all through this review, the Alchemist production is incredible. From start to finish, the Alchemist pretty much laced these guys with flawless beats. The entire album has this chill, relaxing aura that just works. Another positive for this album, I'd say I have really enjoyed the beat switches and the outros for each track. I mean, seriously, one of the main and best parts of this album is almost how at the end of every track, the beat either switches or fades into a really smooth sample. It gives the album this overall old school 70s vibe that makes it even more enjoyable. And then lastly, man, I think the biggest highlight of this album that we can go back and look on years from now is that 2 Chainz pretty much showed his versatility on this one. We all know 2 Chainz can rap, but this project really forced him to switch up his flow and delivery. And for the most part, I'd say he pulled it off. But of course, the album isn't perfect. Let's talk about the negatives. For one, some of 2 Chainz' lyrics felt forced. On a few tracks, specifically like LLC, it felt like he was trying too hard. It felt like he was trying to fit too many bars within a certain measure, and it didn't always land smoothly. Another negative I have about this project is it almost felt too chill. Look, I love a laid-back project. I'm a laid-back guy myself. I love to just enjoy music and just let it play in the background. But at times, this album gets a little too mellow, to the point where it starts feeling a little repetitive and just boring. It could have used a little more variation to keep things fresh, is all I'm saying. And then lastly, probably the reason why it felt kind of flat was because it didn't have a lot of features. The lack of features is probably the main thing for me. I think a couple of well-placed features here and there could have given this album more depth and maybe livened things up a bit. Maybe if you had 1 or 2 features, just one at the beginning, one at the end or something like that, could have made this album a little more different. I get that it was a 2 Chainz, Larry June, and The Alchemist collaboration. I just feel like it needed something else. Alright, so my overall grade for Life is Beautiful is a C-. The execution was solid. The Alchemist was flawless with the beats, and 2 Chainz and Larry June actually worked better together than I thought. But again, I just think the album could have used a little more variation, a couple more features. I mean, honestly, with this type of vibe, I feel like a Wiz Khalifa feature or something like that could have worked. Currency, Benny the Butcher, something kind of in that wheelhouse. Even a singer, a soulful singer or two could have made a difference. With that being said, this isn't an album for every type of situation. But if you're chilling, you're on a long late night drive, smoking one, or just vibing, this album definitely rides. I put it in the category of like a cushion orange juice, something like that, man, to where it's just a chill album that you can kind of let ride a little bit for sure, not pay attention to so much, but it doesn't take away from the fact that it was a solid project. Yeah, so Life is Beautiful. I did enjoy it, to be completely honest, but I just had to give it a C minus, and it's just missing a couple things for my liking. But that's just my take. What did you guys think of the album? What would you grade it? I appreciate you guys checking this one out. Like, comment, subscribe, the whole nine. But I'm on to the next one. Peace.